Welcome to the flagstone-experts.com DVD on how to do your own brick mailbox. I'm here with my father, Hans Clausen. Dad, you've been laying brick and doing masonry since the early 1950s, is that correct?
That's right. I started as an apprentice, had a 4-year apprenticeship in Fargo, North Dakota. Then been doing brickworks ever since, from glaze tile to glass blocks to you name the material, and I have done most of it.
We have this job here we're doing for a client, an old friend of ours for many, many years. He wants to replace this mailbox that you see right back here, and which we'll show you how we'll be doing here in a little bit. Should we get right to it?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, Dad, here we got the tools and supplies chapter, and we're gonna go through. I'll just pan through so they get an idea of all the tools, which isn't really that much to do a mailbox, but we want to make sure that they know exactly what to get for the job. I'm gonna focus down here. You have 2 levels here. What's the long level for?
We have the 4-foot level. Once you get up a ways on the mailbox itself, the brickwork, then the long level comes in handy. However, the shorter one that you see here you can begin with. You can also finish with this type level. Is ideal for going the whole length if you need to. Next we have the trowel, obviously you need for your for laying the bricks. Then we have the S-jointer. If you want to finish the joint smoothly and not rake him back, this S-jointer is what you want to finish the joints. This next, you have a raker. If you want to recess the joints,
That gives it a little more rougher look, right?
Also, well, after you rake it, you take the wisp broom that you see on my left here, and you brush the joints with it so they come out fairly smooth. You also have a choice to set the depth. Generally you're talking about 3/8 of an inch in depth.
Okay.
As you can see, there is a nail here. This screw, you loosen it and you can adjust this nail for the depth of your joints. Then you retighten this and then go back and forth to rake out your joints.
And on this particular mailbox, we're going to be raking it, so they'll see that later on. But if they have smoother joints on the house, and generally you'll do the S-joiner. Yes. Now over here, the rule is
gives you your height factor, your square, and all. You do your measuring with that.
Okay. Next
is a brick hammer. In most cases, when you lay out your mailbox, you want to lay it out in 20, 24, 16 inch, something that works out with your bricks that saves you a lot of cutting.
So they don't have to rent a saw, they can do all the cutting with a brick hammer, which we'll show them how to do.
Yes.
But they just got to keep in 4s, like you said, either 16 inches, 20 inches, 24 inches. That means going around.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the brush here, obviously you use with the rake. If you have to polish and rake out your joint, you use that brush to smoothen out your joints with that.
Okay, let's go over here to the shovel. We did put the hoe there. That's optional. They really don't have to, since they're only going to be mixing a couple batches in a wheelbarrow. They could probably just do it with a shovel. Is that right?
That is it. Then they can save themselves the cost of a hoe if they don't have it. You can do all that with just the shovel.
Okay, now in terms of the supplies, here we have masonry cement. Do you have a particular brand, or most brands work pretty well?
I think most will do. Just make sure it's a quality cement. In this case, I have Ideal Masonry. I like that. It's like everything else. You get used to a certain brand. It has served me well over the years.
Okay, then we have some blocks here. The blocks are for backing, is that right?
Blocks are for the inner part of the box. You have to have, number one, strength, and then you use these blocks to support your mailbox, which comes in at about 2 foot or whatever height you prefer the box to be. You need to fill the inner part of your mailbox with any material. You can use either bricks or blocks.
And we figured on this job, how many blocks did we? We're doing 24 by 24. Is that right?
Yes, that's what we have here, and we need roughly 12 blocks. So you don't need a lot of blocks. It is just so you get the cavity filled.
Okay. And in terms of the cement, about 2 bags should probably be enough. They don't have to get.
Generally, what you can figure about 125 to 150 bricks can be laid with 1 sack of masonry. If we're talking a mailbox of 200 to 300 bricks, 2 bags of masonry should do nicely.
Okay. Now bricks, of course, that's their individual taste. They can figure anywhere from 200 to 300 bricks, depending on how wide they go. Is that correct?
Yes, and like I said, sometimes you want to match the house, sometimes you want to be different from the house, but that's up to the individual homeowner to make a choice of the bricks that he prefers.
And then we have one piece of a flagstone that's going to go on top.
Yes, in this case, the people wanted a rather thick one. This is around 3 inches. That will cover the very top of the mailbox. It's
3 inches thick, is that right?
3 inches thick, and in this case, I figured to have an overhang of about 1.5 to 2 inches all the way around the mailbox. So if you're 24 by 24 inches, then add on 3 inches on all sides. So this particular one is 27 by 27 inches.
But they don't necessarily have to get such a thick stone. They get a thinner one.
No. Again, that's up to
this client wanted that.
What's available and how thick you like it for your own personal use.
Okay. Now this is, they can of course choose any type of mailbox. This is what this client chose. It's a nice square mailbox. It makes it easier for cuts, is that right?
That, and there's also a security box. When you open it up, you can see the mailman can drop the mail in there, but people cannot take the mail out. So it's kind of a safety feature.
Okay, and but you know, that's individual taste. They can get a rounder one or any type of mailbox, and then when we show them with the brick hammer, they can then make the cuts that they need. And then just one other thing, the masonry sand. They just need masonry sand to go with the cement. Generally, if they're doing a mailbox, we figure about what, 1/4 yard would probably suffice.
Yes, it depends on the inner part of the mailbox itself. If it's a bigger cavity, obviously you use some more cement than you would on a narrow one.
And the wheelbarrow, normally when you lay bricks, we have a mortar board and stuff, but since it's just a small job with a mailbox, they can do all the mixing in the wheelbarrow and just get the cement right out of the wheelbarrow. Is that right?
That would certainly work that way.
And then they'll need a bucket over here, like a 5-gallon bucket for
water
and stuff. One other thing I just wanted to point out, we're using masonry cement for laying the brick. When they go to lay the foundation, which they'll see in the next chapter, we'll just talk to it. It was already laid for us. They pour it with Portland type 1-2 cement. Is that right?
Yes, and
they want to use concrete. That'll give it a stronger foundation for the brick to sit on.
And a couple of rebars laid into the slab to hold it together.
They could put a couple rebars in, and but in terms of supplies and tools, this is what you're going to need to get the job done. And like we said, the only other thing is the Portland cement, and you can just mix that with masonry sand, or you can get that quick reet or some of those quicker brands just to lay the foundation. So
that certainly works there.
Okay, then we'll go on to the next chapter. Okay, Dad, we're going to show them the foundation that they need to lay for this brick mailbox. Let me zoom down to it, down over here. We're taking a look. This slab we put in yesterday. It's very simple to do. What do they need to do for this slab?
Basically, what we did here is we dug down about 8 to 12 inches, depending on the size of your mailbox. You want to make sure you perhaps overbuild it a little to make sure that the slab and the mailbox down the line won't tilt on you. Then we went ahead and formed this out. You see part of the form right here. It's a 1x4 to hold the concrete on top. Then we leveled it out with the form, and then we took ready-made concrete mix, which you get in most lumber yards or Home Depot, and poured this in this hole after we had it dug out. Then we screeded it off to get a level surface to start our brickwork. In this case, we're starting out a little decorative, and we have soldier courses coming around here on this outer line. And then we're going to sit in with a regular running bond on top of the soldier course. Here we are matching existing piers that have this decorative soldier course on the bottom. You do not have to do that. You can start out right away with a running bond straight away.
Now when you say running bond, why don't you show them just quick dry lay, because they're going to want to do it real simple, like they won't be doing these soldier courses. We have to do it. So when you say running bond, that's as simple as it is. What you did is you made it square to the sidewalk here. So in other words, that blue line, let me zoom in on that so people can see the blue line, is square to the sidewalk. So in other words, it's going to look straight to the sidewalk. When they do the running bond, like we see there, it's going to be laid just like you laid it there. All they have to do is just match it up to the blue line, and we're going to show them in the next chapter. Is that correct?
That is right. And here, too, what you want to remember is we're going 24 by 24. You may not want to go that wide, but we have a rather large mailbox in here. So that dictated to us to go 24 by 24.
So as long as, in terms of the brick, if they just go 4 inches, so if they go 20 inches by 20 inches, in other words,
that's right,
20 inches long, 20 inches wide, they don't have any, or they won't have any cuts. They won't have to do half cuts. Is that correct?
You want to stay away from having to cut it. So you want to go kind of in 4-inch increments. 20 by 20 will work out, 24 by 24, or any size above or below that fits your mailbox.
Fits the mailbox. We're going to do 24 by 24. Now the slab itself, in other words, since we're going to do 24 by 24, we're going to make a slab that's 28 inches wide by 28 inches. That way there is 2 inches on each side. Is that correct?
Yes, to help stabilize the box later on. Kind of figure to go 2 inches beyond the size of the mailbox.
So in other words, if the brick is here, generally we're going to want about 2 inches of a foundation on each side. So the brick is here, and we roughly have about 2 inches on this side, and that gives it a good foundation.
And stabilizes the mailbox.
The pad is level, so it makes it easier for us to lay the bricks. And then you usually do that a day ahead of time, right? So that the pad gets 24 hours to dry up.
That's right.
Okay. All right, we'll come back when we show them how to lay it. It'll be a little bit difficult, but if they just do simple steps, it won't be that difficult at all. Is that right?
No, just as long as they don't get in a hurry, by doing it slow and easy, they should be able to come up with a fairly decent product.
Dad, we're here going to be mixing up the right cement in order to lay this brick mailbox. In the wheelbarrow, you have 5 shovels of masonry sand to 3 shovels of masonry. Is that correct?
That is right.
Now you can just mix it up with a hoe as you're doing, or if they don't want to worry about a hoe, and since it won't be that much cement, they can just, it takes a little long, but they can mix it up with a shovel. Is that correct?
Yes, they can do that. And for the mailbox, since it only entails about 200 bricks, you don't even have to go to a mixer. It's just as easy doing it in a wheelbarrow. What you want to do is, you want to get fairly good consistency on your cement. As you can see, I have too much water in here. It is too soft. So what I'll do is, I'll get one more shovel of sand from the trailer here. We'll put this on here, and then I'll add about a little shovel of masonry, and I should be coming up with the consistency that I like when I start laying bricks.
So now it's mixed up, and so that they get an idea what consistency it is, why don't you show them with the trowel how it should look. It's pretty smooth and it comes right off like that. That way it's easier to spread and to lay the bricks on the mortar. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. And you don't want it too thin, then the bricks will squeeze together on you. Too thick, and it's hard to press them to get a normal joint.
Okay, we'll show them how we're going to lay it in a following chapter. Dad, now this is a special case of a brick mailbox. The client wanted what's called a soldier course, where the bricks are standing up. Only advanced bricklayers do this. We wouldn't advise someone at home trying to stand the bricks up as they see along there. But what we just want to stress is that you're laying these brick here on top as if it were on concrete. So the viewer at home, this is the pattern you're going to see, where we have 3 bricks, what they call a running bond, 3 bricks on the outside, 2, and then 3, and then 2, and we're going to lay it up from there, and we're going to show you right now how you're actually going to lay up those brick if you're a beginner and you've never done this. Dad, let's talk a little bit about this dry layout here.
The reason I laid it out dry first, I went ahead so I see how big my joints are.
Okay, I'll zoom in on a joint so they know what we're talking about.
Then I come along and I use a square to square my bricks here. And then obviously you do it on all 4 corners.
So that square there makes sure that everything is just squared, yeah.
Yes,
just
exactly. And then after I have done that,
and they can get a square like at Home Depot, right?
Yes,
they're fairly
this is an older square. It doesn't cost that much. Then I put a line next to the brick.
So you can see the black line there. And now we know where the bricks go.
Now I'll take the bricks and set them inside, and I will begin laying the first course down. You'll see that this course here is laid on the soldier course, but you will start out on your concrete in this
the same exact way. We have the soldier course because the client wants that, but just pretend it's concrete. So you spread out your mortar like that.
You kind of furrow it along so it comes to the outside and is easier to do that way. Then I'll go along here.
Now we do realize it's going to take you a little longer to spread it. Of course, we've been doing this for 50 years, so that makes it a little quicker. But if you just go slow and furrow out like we did there,
it makes it easier to lay your bricks on furrowed out mortar instead of leaving it flat.
Because what happens is that when the brick gets laid down, the mortar comes to the outside and you don't have to then tuck it in, right?
That's it. You want to stay away from holes as much as you can. And by furrowing it this way now, take your brick, put the cement on there, then lay it to your line, which you have on your concrete. So you know you have your corner there. I'll go all the way around before I use the level.
Now on this next brick, show them how to go real slow and how to butter the end so that the beginner...
You see this?
Okay, so let's go real slow.
Okay.
Lay that one and the next one.
On the next one. See, I take the mortar away as it squeezes out.
Makes it a little
Then
cleaner.
I hold the bricks this way and put a full joint on it. Then go over here, put it down.
Let's do the next one a lot slower. Do it real slow so they can kind of see.
Here you only want the end because this is a corner brick.
Oh, that's the corner brick.
Now we come over here and put it just like that.
You lay it.
I lay it in there, take off the top. You want to keep the mortar off the top because you're going to keep coming with your level. And you don't want any cement in the way.
Okay, this next brick, go real slow. Don't go yet. And let's take a look so that the owner
Take a little
can see.
mortar on the trowel.
Okay.
Then come along and hit the end of your brick like this. Squeeze it a little, otherwise it will fall off your brick.
Okay.
Then keep it like this. Bring it over here and press it down lightly. Then cut your mortar off here and here. And you can see where we have a fairly smooth joint along here. Then I'll go do it again. It's repetitious, but this is accurate.
And it'll take a while for them to get the hang of it. It is a little bit tricky for a bit.
If I
but
were them, I do one side at a time, like these three here. Then take the last brick that fits in there, and you need to do it on both sides of your brick. Come over here, put a little cement on here, here, and here, and that guarantees you having a full joint. As you're coming down, you can see where it's squeezed in there, the cement.
And if it doesn't if they don't completely get it full, they can always take the time and tuck it in a little bit too, right? With a little tuck pointer.
Yes,
That we showed in the tools and supplies section, and just kind of put the cement in. Now, what you're doing there is you're leveling it out.
The very first thing I do, I go all the way around.
So we're going to go around. Let's take a look at the bubble. Let me zoom in on the bubble so that they can see. It's coming in. All right, hold on.
I'll bring it down.
Okay, so
now it's level. Then I cut the cement off.
All right, so you can see that the bubble's in the middle, and that we have level on this side. You're going to level all the sides.
Now I go
so they'll go through.
This side. I'll go to this side, do the same thing.
And you pound it with the level, right? You just use the level. You use the back side level.
Ideally, you don't want to pound too much on your level, but I'm so close that I use it to get everything smooth. Now I have level here. I should be level over there, and I'm level here. Now I have my line down here, this time on the soldier course, but you would have it on the concrete.
Okay.
Then go by your line and then bring the level alongside.
Let's show that so that they can see that.
Alongside.
So that the bricks are going to be
you can see how it's
alongside.
lined out.
It's flush with the level. The bricks touch the level
evenly.
Very evenly, right? You do that on each side.
Then I'll do the same thing over here. I tap this out a little, this out a little, this here too.
So
and
it's
again,
all flush.
We're even. I fill this joint a little bit here.
Because
cut this
didn't
off.
quite have enough mortar, so that's where they may put it in with a trowel or tucking.
Then I'll do the same thing on this side. As you can see, this here then finishes this course. This is all even, and you should be on your line and
so we're level on each side. Let's do one more course just so they can get an idea how you're going to alternated. So you take the cement, and you can just take it right out of the wheelbarrow like we're doing here.
But you can also get it off a mortarboard.
Or a mortarboard, whatever they prefer. And we'll show that. That's in the tools and supplies section. So the cement just lays on like that, and you furrow it. You just spread it out like that. And that's where you want to have a little wetter cement like we showed on mixing cement, because it's easier to spread. Is that right?
That is the idea behind it all. Make it as easy, not too wet, not too thick. And then the bricks will fairly well lay right if you got the right cement.
Now we did put bricks in the middle here. In order for them to save money, they can just put blocks, because we put bricks because we have a bunch left over.
Ideally, yes.
And we're going to be building that up, because they're going to be that's going to where the mailbox is going to sit on. Is that correct?
Yes, we need support for the mailbox, so you can fill it with any material, masonry material that you like. If you find that blocks are cheaper, you can use blocks. If you think that you want to use the same bricks that you use on the outside, you may do that. This is kind of preference. Since it does not show, you can use anything that you have handy in the masonry material.
Now the bricks are staggered. In other words, they overlap.
Half bond.
Half bond, we call that.
Yes.
And that gives it strength and makes it look better
and
too.
And ties it together.
Ties it together. So then that's how you would start the second layer.
Your second course. Remember,
and you're just going to go around.
Try and get your first 3 courses level and plumb. It makes all the rest of the courses that much easier.
Okay, so you'll lay this one in, and then we'll show exactly how to level the second course and the on both sides, from the top and from the sides.
Yes. And all of this, you have to take your time. I'm doing it fast here in order not to take up too much film. But you'll want to do it much slower.
Yeah, take your time, get it right. Go slower. I mean, like we said, we have a few more years of experience. That's why we can do it a little quicker. But if you just go slow, you make sure all your joints are filled. And we'll show that later, how to rake it so the joints look real nice.
You can either rake the joints or strike them. Or sometimes all they do is sack off the joints. However, that's not a very good weather joint, so you want to either strike them or rake them, whatever your preference is. When you rake, you'll find it sets off the bricks real well, and it makes for a lovely job.
Okay, now we're going to take the level and show how we're going to balance that out.
Again, we do the same thing that we did on the first course. We go try and get this level first, then you go to this side. That's level already.
Okay.
And then we go over to this side, and again, this is fairly level. And we have the same thing here, and as you can see on the bubble, that too is level.
Yep, right in the middle there. Okay.
Now what you want to do, you come along here and you put your level in a vertical position right here. You see the bubble right there?
Let's take a look.
You want that plumb.
Let me focus that in.
Then you come over here. You want the same thing. There it is, plumb. Then you put the level lengthways, because you have a plumb point here, plumb point here. You want to tap this back a little, bring this out to the level a little. So and now you know that this side here is level and plumb. Then I go over to this side, do the same thing here. Again, I hold the level there. You see right there, it is plumb.
Okay.
I do the same thing here. Bring out the brick just a hair. Then again, put the level flat against the bricks. Tap the bricks out. And you can see where we're straight on this side.
And you can see by doing this, by either going, this is 24 inches by 24, we have no cuts to make.
The same thing
going
you would
around.
achieve if you decided to go 20 by 20.
20 by 20.
Now I have the same thing over here. I plumb that corner. Then I bring my bricks up against this level, and we should be nice and straight. Now that's the last side over there.
So you got to make sure you get all 4 sides from
Yes.
3 different areas, on top, up and down, and where the 2 bricks, the 2 courses that we made, we want to make sure that those are even
You
together.
always want to start out with the leveling of your material, and then you go to the vertical. Because if you do it vice versa, and you do the vertical first, you have a tendency to knock your bricks out and you lose the vertical. So go first horizontal, this way, this way, this way, and this way, and then go ahead and do your vertical. And that
Okay.
should serve you well.
All right, we'll come back when we have a few more courses laid up.
And with a satisfied owner too.
Yep. Hey Dad, we're up about 6 courses we've gone up. So why don't you just show them how you've leveled it from each of the different sides. I'll zoom in on the level and they can see that we got level on top.
And then, of course, we get the vertical.
So we got a vertical level. They got to make sure
Now you
to-
can see where alongside here,
We've got
we
a level
wanna
there.
Constantly touch the level. We do the same thing here. We have it taken care of here. Then remember, we always go around first, leveling everything, like here and here. As you can see, that is level. Then we do the same thing over here.
Mm-hmm.
And
So it's leveled horizontally and vertically.
yes, the plumb side is the vertical side. It is plumb there. As you can see, all of the bricks are touching properly. And then I'll turn here again, like we always do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go over to this side, do the same thing here. And as you can see, we're pretty close to being plumb there.
Yep. And it all
And then the
touches,
same thing over on this
touches
other
flush
side.
with the level.
And then we'll touch it coming this way again.
So it all is flush. Now just you want to show them how to rake out. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it with a rake or by a striking. Since it fits the house, we're going to rake the joints out. So okay, I just want to show them an S joint. We're going to be raking this, but show them if they want to do a smooth joint.
In order to finish the joint with an S joiner, you can see you go again on the long joint, the horizontal joint. You take your S joiner, put it along this way.
And it just goes real smooth and easy. When they go from the ends, they should start from the end and work backwards. Is that right?
Well, whatever's, you know, whatever
So
they
they don't
like
rake
to do.
the-
You can, I always
Strike it
come
out.
in from the corners.
Right, that way it
like
doesn't knock
this,
the corners out.
Not to take the corners and break them out. If you do have it like here, where you need
Just
to
fill it
finish
in.
the corner, you go kind of like this, then hit your horizontal joints like this. Part here.
That's if they want a nice smooth look.
Now
But
I take the trowel, cut off the excess mortar, then go and restrike the bottom joints. As you can see, when you go the horizontal joints, you end up dragging the joint through the bottom joint. By going over it this way, you kind of eliminate that. And then you can take a light brush and brush this and then later on take some cleaner and do this. Now, we showed you how to strike these. Now we'll show you how to rake these. We have this raking tool here.
And you can get the striking tool.
You can set this to the depth that you like. Generally speaking, you don't want to go much more than 3/8 to a 1/2 inch.
This gives it the rough look.
This here recesses it to the depth that you prefer. You can go a little deeper or you can stay a little shallower. But again, we get the long ones first. Come from your corners in so you don't break out your corners. Like this. Then you come in there like this.
And I'll zoom in, you can see how you get the rough look.
Okay, now we have the horizontal. Now we go to the vertical joints.
So horizontal first, vertical second.
That will work. Do the same thing here. Make sure you get them clean.
And that raker they can get for, we've seen them for as low as $6, $7, $8 since they're only doing one job.
Exactly.
They don't need a professional
grade. Don't need to.
And same with the ester, if they want to strike the joints, they can get that for $6, $7 too, right?
That is correct. There are at Home Depot or several hardware stores, Ace Hardware might carry masonry tools. So now you see where this side is all raked out. Get the rest here, and then I take a light brush here, and first I take the horizontal
and that cleans
joints,
it out pretty well.
and it also smoothens this out. You see how it takes the roughness out of the
So
joint?
take a little whisk broom and
Yes, just brush each joint nicely. If you have any holes there, just make sure you fill them. Now,
all right, then it comes out clean. And if there is any smear marks that comes on the stone, they can get some masonry cleaner, right, by Proseco or someone else.
If they smear a lot while they are laying this up, being somewhat amateur, I take, again, a sponge and then end up sponging this wall.
You can sponge it or they can come later with a little acid. But sponging it now makes it a lot easier to clean later.
Later on to clean it. But there you kind of see the finished product.
All right, you can see how the joints look nice and rough and they match the house. So you'll generally want to match it to the house. If the house is striked, rough look, then you'll strike it, then you rake it. But if it's smooth like the house, then you strike it.
Right.
And we're going to now back up the mailbox here, the wall, so that the mailbox can sit on top of it. Down below it's real smooth. Why is that smooth like that right now?
Well, we finished it yesterday, and we had some rain coming, and I wanted to make sure that we had a fairly smooth surface to protect against the rain. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use those 8-inch blocks for backup. What I'll do is I'll put a little cement here in the middle.
Because you can back it up with anything. The owner had some leftover bricks, so we backed it up with that. Now we're going to put in some block. If you don't have any leftover brick or any
other
materials like stone or something like that, then just get cinder blocks because they're the cheapest. And it's real simple. Just
set them in there.
Because that's going to be the support for the mailbox, as you'll see later as we come up.
We have the blocks in. Now I'm going to use some bricks to get up. I only have 2 courses to get to the bottom of the mailbox, so I'm going to put in 2 courses of bricks.
So that's where sometimes bricks comes in. If you have to just get it up level to
a certain height,
then you just put in some bricks. And like I said, use the old junkier ones. Usually if you get 200-300 bricks, you're always going to have maybe some chipped ones and some ones you don't want to put on the outside. So you can just lay them in real easily. You don't have to be too precise, not like on the outside where you have to be real careful and you want to get it real level. And looking nice.
What you do here is you kind of follow the outside of your bricks here. You can see we're kind of even with the outside. We want to be, the next course will get us flush with this.
So like we said, you can back it up with anything. So you can also get 4-inch block. Sometimes some stone might work if you have some leftover
You can
flagstone.
get second-hand bricks. They generally, the stone yard or brick yard will sell those at a more reasonable rate than first-class bricks.
Because generally, like the bricks we got here, they're about 40 cents a piece. So you figure about $40 for about 100 of them.
The older bricks you can sometimes get for half that price. So now what I do is, as you can see, I'm going even with my coursing here.
So it'll be level when we set the mailbox on top of it.
We'll go this way, and this way. And this way. Now we have the base. What I do now is I take cement and fill this.
And you do that because now it's a lot more solid inside.
Yes, and also gives me a solid base for the mailbox. So here we have it. Now I got this. I will get the mailbox.
And we're all ready to put the mailbox on. Okay.
Set it.
Okay, Dad, now we got the mailbox and it just sits right on top of the base that we just filled in behind.
Then I take a level.
Okay.
Put a level across there. It looks like I'm a little bit low in front. Put a little cement there. And now I'll wiggle it down to where you can see right there we're level.
Now we're level. Okay.
Then I'll go across this way, and as you can see we're level there.
Okay, so we're level on both directions with the mailbox.
So we
And you
can
see how it
start,
sits.
and then you measure obviously to have the same distance on both sides. We have 6 3/4 here. We have 5 1/2 here, so I'll move it over this way just a little. We're showing 6 1/4 here, about 1/8 more. And we have 6 1/4 there. So this is basically where you want it sitting. Level and plumb.
All right. Hey, Dad, we're gonna do some cuts now so they know how to cut with the brick hammer. We got the mailbox in, so we want to make sure that we get cuts that go around it. You measured it from each of the sides.
What I did is I held it up there like this, and then I give myself a little joint alongside. I don't go absolutely tight. Then I do the same. Since we're even, both of these cuts are identical
Okay.
and will fit. Then I take the brick hammer
Okay.
and I tap along here, and then I turn the brick over, hit it there,
And you just tap fairly lightly, and there you got it.
and then I've got it. As you see, I need to dress it out a little. Here we have this cut. There we go. We have this. Then I'll take the opposite side, which I have marked out already, do the same thing.
Make sure just smash it a few times on each side.
There.
You got it?
And you
And
see
then-
where
fits right
this
in.
one fits on this side. And this is basically what you can do. Tap both sides, and since this is right in the middle of the hole, it makes it a lot easier to split out.
Rather than if it's between.
Well, if it's down the solid side of the brick, it takes a little more tapping here and on the back side.
You got to be a lot more patient.
Yes, to break that out properly. Here we lucked out. We were in the middle of the hole, and so it makes it relatively easy to bust. And then the piece that you have left over, will fit right here for the next course, because this brick here, as you can see, the next course coming here will fit. So in this case, we can use both pieces, and you can see where that will work.
Oh, nice.
Right
So
here.
Works out well. Okay. Hey, Dad. Here we have the box filled in. What we did is we filled the mailbox completely in. We filled it with brick and block and cement so that it's totally, solidly, and completely in there. Is that right?
Yeah, it's all locked in now. We're getting ready to set the capstone.
We're gonna put a piece of flagstone. People could do what's called a roll lock. Is that right? Where they just set the brick on top?
You could do the same part here with your brick. However, you have to stand them up like this. If you're gonna go bricks, it would look something like this on top. And then you come around here, here, and here, and then fill the center with bricks. The reason we're using the flagstone is it weathers much better than a cap made out of bricks.
Let's see.
It's much harder in the winter time on the joints, at least here in Colorado. And so we find that using a capstone, not only does it look good, but it's also very weather tight.
Okay. So we'll come back. We'll lay the stone on. We got the capstone on. So let me focus in on the bubble. So we got it level on each side?
Yes. We go across this way, then we turn around and go across this way. If you want to, you can let it down one side or the other so the water travels off. In this case, we have it level going both ways. Then taking and spacing it out on all sides, we have about 1.5 inch overhang.
So you took the rule and you made sure there was 1 inch overhang on each of the sides.
1.5 inches.
Oh, 1.5 inches.
And then we'll come along and we'll go with a trowel and cut this off here, flush, just like this.
Okay.
We'll go on all 4 sides here, flush it out. Bear in mind, these joints here, we still have to rake them out.
We'll rake like we did earlier, then they can rake that out.
That's it.
Now, this is a very thick stone. It's 3 inches. As we said earlier, they don't need to have that thick of a stone. What's the minimum thickness they could go to?
For a pier this size, you probably want to be around 2 inches, 1.75 inches to 2.
1.75 inches to 2 inches. And then generally you want 1.5 inches to 2 inch overhang.
Overhang, so when the moisture, rain or snow, and it begins to melt, it drips off. It does not come down the side of your wall. It drips straight off and doesn't stain your wall.
All right. We have the pier over here totally complete. Now there's one last step in washing it down, and we're going to wash it with 600 detergent. I'll focus in on that. Why don't you show what you put in the 5-gallon bucket? You put in...
Basically, we have about 1 inch, since we don't need an awful lot for this.
Just put a very tiny bit,
I
right?
put about 1 inch of this 600 in, and then we'll get the hose here. And fill it about quarter full.
And now, the reason why you don't want to put too much of that cleaner in, because it's strong stuff and it can burn the brick, is that right?
that's it. And then we're dealing with concrete here in front. You notice in front of the mailbox post there's concrete. What you want to do is you want to let the hose and the water run there pretty good, so
it dilutes it, right?
This concrete. Wherever you have concrete, you want to be careful with the 600 that you don't end up burning.
And now, do you worry much about the grass? The grass tends to stay pretty well.
No, the solution is mild enough, and as I wash down, I'll wash down each side, and as I wash it down,
you got this
I'm gonna have Garrett bring the hose here with water.
Your grandson or my nephew?
Yes, and we'll wash it down immediately. As you can see, it's fairly potent stuff, but it does take care of that light gray film that you see on this side versus this.
All right, you can already see it kind of, the brown and the little gray kind of already coming off.
Exactly.
And then you try to get it with water pretty quickly after that, so you avoid any type of burning. Is that right?
That's it, and then it dilutes it right away by the grassy area here.
I see.
But
so then you don't have to worry about the grass.
There you have an idea, and you just do that to every side, and you should be fine.
And now, what about the actual mailbox, the black mailbox?
Well,
should they brush that?
I'm going to be very careful when I wash around it. I make sure that I don't get too much on it. This has baked enamel on it, so what I do is I go around very carefully. I don't want too much of this 600 hitting it. I'll do it here, and as you notice, I'll do over the top very last. Then I take the water immediately and wash it down.
You get it real quickly.
There's no chance of this discoloring.
Any type burning. And it's best to always read the instructions on Proseco or any type of masonry cleaner, because it's always strong stuff. Here it is. I'm going to focus in on it. So they can see it's 600 detergent by Proseco. We've had pretty good luck with it, but you just got to read the instructions and be very careful with it, because it can burn real quickly. Is that right?
Because you have an acid base.
Generally, we always say like 20-to-1 water to the Proseco, and we've had pretty good success with it as far as cleaning and getting it all off. Now, do you have to worry about the flagstone on top?
That's the very last thing I wash down.
Okay.
You notice I do all the four sides first, and then I'll get the stone last, and then rinse everything off real good again.
You know, just be very liberal with the water, right? Use lots and lots of water.
Yes,
and then you won't get in any trouble with...
You don't want to burn either the masonry joint or the bricks themselves.
Okay.
And acid, of course, will attack metal in a hurry. So whenever you're working around your aluminum mailbox or the metal one like here, you want to be careful and get water on there quick so you dilute your 600.
Because we've had some emails on the website, people using pure muriatic acid, and then they get burns.
Yes,
and then all that good work they do gets kind of destroyed.
Yes. So now we have all four sides taken care of. Now I'll go ahead and get the top flagstone piece.
Any reason you like to do the flagstone last?
Well, flagstone is kind of touchy when it comes to using the 600. And this way, I always work from the bottom to the top, because when you do the top, you spill onto your four sides. And I want to get that off right away.
Because if you have to wash it off, then you dilute the brick, because the water's going to come down, because you want to wash it down real quickly now.
Yes.
So we don't stain the mailbox or the stone or the brick or anything.
So everything is right here. Everything should be nice and clean now.
So now we have a nice clean brick mailbox and all ready for the mailman to enjoy. Is that right?
We hope he does. Or she.
Yeah, that's right. Excuse me, mail person. Excuse us.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, Dad, here we are. We got the nice brick mailbox totally completed. It took us a little while. Any last tips for the home viewer?
Yes, if you go ahead and attempt to do this, take your time. Don't get in a terrible hurry with it. You do a good job if you do it slow. If you hurry it too much, you may get off on your plumb and level. But for the most part, if you take your time, where it takes us a day to do it, it might take you 2 or 3. Take your time, and I think you will have good luck putting it up.
Well, we thank you for joining us here with this DVD on how to make a brick mailbox. This DVD doesn't end yet. If you go to our website, which is going to pull up here in a minute, at the-flagstone-experts.com, you can sign up for the Flagstone Times. In it, you're going to get information about how to improve your landscape and tips from professionals and architects and masons, everybody in the landscaping, home and garden business. So please sign up for it. It's free. There is no charge, and you'll get a wealth of information in it. So thanks again, and we'll be seeing you.
Thank you.